kick set, where them haters, where them hoes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
I found this when I was looking for, trying to find Andrew Bronca's self-defense, things you don't know about self-defense law, but I saw in the email that I got on one of his lists they were having server problems. But I did find this, and this is good right here. It says it's top 10 self-defense myths. I'm going to put a link to it below the video. But this is really what I would say are 10 self-defense myths that are, like it says here, for women. It really applies to anyone, but I want to go through these and speak to them as I really use them, because when I used to live in a not so nice area, this stuff that they're talking about right here is how I truly use self-defense, okay? Especially with regards to using Taekwondo, believe it or not. So, the first myth is self-defense is a set of physical skills. Now it says here, self-defense is first about recognizing and avoiding dangerous situations so you don't have to use your physical skills. Amen to that. Avoid the mentality that it won't happen to you or your neighborhood is safe. I didn't have to worry about that then. Now I do, because my neighborhood is safe. But it doesn't mean that everywhere I go is safe. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Self-defense training can also help you assess threats and manage fear in high-stress situations. One thing I want to say, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. Those are the tenets of Taekwondo. The tenets are actually the most useful part of Taekwondo when it comes to self-defense, because if you want to talk about one thing that's has literally kept me from being shot, it's courtesy. Showing courtesy to people. It doesn't mean you have to be like Eddie Haskell. You don't know who that is, look it up. Just being kind, just being respectful, not thinking I'm the baddest thing on earth. I bump into someone, I say, oops, excuse me, I'm sorry. That has really, literally kept me alive and kept me from being shot to death. Now, where they're talking about right here about assessing threats and managing high-stress situations, now, I don't like to talk about my day job on this channel, but I will for this instance, because I work in one of the safest buildings in the world, and I like to walk outside. And I walked outside. Well, I was about to walk outside, and then I saw security was talking to a woman who looked rather deranged. And they looked like they were trying to get her to leave. And she looked rather deranged and dangerous, and she was right by the door. So I looked at that, and I assessed that I don't want to be outside with that woman out there. If both of them came out there to try to talk to her and confront her and see what's going on with her, I need to do what I did, which was just turn around and walk back inside. So I assessed that I didn't need to be there. So I went in. Number 2, don't walk alone. So basically they're saying that not walking alone is only good. It says many times walking with another person can decrease your chances of crimes like rape, but for robbery and assaults is much less of a deterrent. I can see that. And it says that this advice is not totally wrong, but there are variables that you need to consider, like, is your companion going to be useful in a confrontation? If you're walking with somebody who is going to be a liability in a confrontation, or someone whose mouth and attitude is going to get you in a confrontation, you might actually be better off walking by yourself. So when I find that I know people or I have companions or friends that I think are going to draw more trouble to me than they should, or just draw trouble to me, period, I just kind of not hang out with them. I push them away, and I just walk alone. But I try not to go places that are isolated, which is going to be talked about right below in number 3. Now, number 3, avoid dark places. And they got a Michael Jackson Thriller face here. Many crimes occur in the daytime just as they do at night. What you need to be worried about is avoiding secluded places. Yes! Avoid places that provide good hiding places or ambushes for your assailant. Many times they will ambush you from an alleyway or from around the corner. And when those 3 guys tried to bug me, I know I've told that story on this channel. It was in an alleyway, and they came from around the corner. If I hadn't been dumb, I would have never been in that situation in the first place. So moving on. Number 4, women are attacked because of their appearance. Most of the time, attackers choose their victims based on what they think they can get away with, not on how their victim is dressed or appears. Who can they overpower with the least amount of struggle? Who won't say anything? That's why so many sexual assault victims are minors. To suggest that a woman's appearance has anything to do with her attack is called victim blaming and is harmful. I can believe that because I'm not a woman, but I know some people have tried me over the years because they thought that I was such a nice person that I probably wouldn't do anything back. And then they find out that, oh man, oops, I've rolled snake eyes. Well, I guess when they see the fire, I call it the fire look in my eyes, I look at them when I get really angry, then they'll back off. But yeah, the thing about it, they're bullies. They want something easy. If they were the type of people who will put in work, like real work, not the slang, put in work, no. If they were actually people with a serious work ethic, they wouldn't be trying to rob you in the first place. Number 5, shoot them in the arm or leg. If you are a gun carrier, you may have heard that you should just aim for the leg or arm. Most attacks usually happen very quickly and are unexpected. I'm not going to read all that because they're getting technical, talking about adrenaline. Oh, no, I will read this. This means that your hands might shake, and that happened to me when I was learning to shoot the pistol, making it harder to aim. Yes. In fact, statistically, only 34% of law enforcement officers hit their target. This means that trained professionals miss their target 66% of the time during a high-stress situation. And I can believe that. That's why they tell you to aim center mass. It's hard to hit somebody's arm or leg. That's TV stuff talking to you. That's not real life. In real life, somebody's moving at you. They're coming after you. That's trying to hit a moving target. You know, when I was in the military, when we learned to shoot, if you weren't going to sniper school, you shot at a still target. And they were training you for war. So what does that tell you? Number 6, mace and pepper spray. Mace and pepper spray can be very effective in creating distance between you and your attacker. There can be limitations with your spray, though, so don't rely on it as your sole self-defense. Some types of spray take a few seconds to be effective. This can give them time to take your can. Wind and rain can also affect the range of spray. Practice using your spray and know its limitations. The biggest limitation I can tell you with mace and pepper spray is that you can't take it everywhere. What you can take with you are your knowledge of empty hand skills, your ability to punch, kick, throw, and pin. Learn to kick, punch, and throw. Learn to fight from on the floor. Wait a minute, it's supposed to be flow. Learn to kick, punch, and throw. Learn to fight from on the flow, because that rhymes with Cecil Ryu Taekwondo. But seriously, if the mace doesn't work, or it doesn't work on them, and you have to get into a physical confrontation, unless you want to beat them over the head with the can of mace, you can go into your punching, your kicking, your throwing, or pinning. Unless we're going to talk about number 7, grappling with your attacker. Number 7, grapple your attacker. Oh, I love this one. I should have just made a video on this. The recent trend of jiu-jitsu and MMA has convinced many women, and men too. See the video about the guy that got stabbed on the New York train that I did. I did a reaction to Crack's video about that. Has convinced many women to grapple their attackers. However, if you're smaller than your attacker, you probably don't want to grapple with them. This also means that you're probably fighting on the ground instead of running away. This can make you vulnerable to other attackers. This is what I tell my students. Grappling is for one-on-one. Punching and kicking is for more than one, or one or more. Okay? So if you want to make it by style, I tell them use your Taekwondo is your main thing. Your Judo that's for if you don't want to hurt the person really. And hopefully I can get a black belt in Aikido so I can make that too. Be part of that's for if you don't want to hurt the person really. If you got to hold somebody down that's getting out of control. And I do this as an exercise. I had one person pin another person, and they hold them down on the ground, and I say, now we're the person's friends, and what are we going to do if you're holding our friend down? And then we don't kick them, but we pretend that we are kicking them. so they can get it. It's like if you're laying down on the ground, somebody's going to kick you in the face. Okay? I won't shout out the hood that I tend to associate with Baltimore. But, you know, people are not going to stand around and just let you beat on their friend. And there was even a YouTube video, they probably took it down, where two boys were fighting. One of the boys' mother was there. The other boy was winning. He got on top of the boy, her son, and she just kicked him in the chin and he was knocked out. So, word to the wise. And think about this too. Not that I'm anti-grappling, for I'm not. For I have a black belt in grappling or two. Uh-oh, there we go on. You got to ask yourself, why do they have weight classes in grappling? It must mean something. Think about it. So, number 8, you will be disarmed. This can actually happen if you look like you aren't willing to use your weapon. Let's be honest though, your attacker probably isn't Jason Bourne and might not know how to disarm you. Show them that you are confident in using your weapon and you're not bluffing. That's right. And that goes for the weapon of your martial art too, because a lot of people like to rag on Taekwondo and they go, well, Taekwondo won't work. Well, if you run into a super duper monkey stylist or some guy who's been in 55 MMA cage matches, who's on 8 types of steroids, and you're not going to be fighting that person 9 times out of 10. I tell people, fine, even if you say Taekwondo is the worst art on earth, and you say that it only works on untrained people, you're still better off taking it, because most likely the person that you're going to be fighting against is untrained. And now, especially with regards for women, if you're a woman and you still got really good flexibility and your legs are really flexible, a roundhouse kick can be one of your best weapons. I still remember that little girl. I wish she came back. I had a feeling, because she said somebody was picking on her. I showed her how to do a roundhouse kick, and I showed her how to do it well. I only saw one lesson after she had that roundhouse kick down, because I have a feeling that she kind of took care of, oh boy, well, I'm leaving it in. She probably took care of whoever made her come take those classes, because that's happened to me before too. But a lot of times the kids will tell me, I'm not coming back. Why aren't you coming back to class? You showed me how to do X technique, and I did it, and he leaves me alone, and I don't need it anymore, but thank you. Number 9, noisemakers will keep you safe. I'm just going to say it. It's probably going to irritate the person a lot of times more so than do anything. What I notice can really, type of noise that can really do something to someone, especially for women and kids, because you have higher pitched voices like she just did right here. Scream. If you scream, imagine that you're aiming to scream at the person that's attacking you, at their ears. Because if you get them to go like this for a split second, if they lean back, then you can catch them right in stomach 5. Don't know where it is, look it up. Or stomach 9. Just use a scream as a distraction. Imagine that you're aiming it at them. Use it as a distraction to do a couple of really well-placed blows that have knockout and stopping accuracy. I won't say power, but accuracy. If you're using self-defense techniques or martial arts techniques, know where to aim those so that you have a higher probability of knocking the person out. You do that, that might buy you some time to get away, okay? Or if you scream and combine it with number 10. Number 10, hit them in the groin. If miscongeniality taught us anything, it's to hit them where it counts. Basically, I'm not going to read all that, but basically they're saying some people can take a groin shot because we've taken groin shots. And yeah, that's true. I wouldn't just think that hitting somebody in the groin is going to be a world ender. You should do that, maybe that, go for the eyes, go for here, that, eyes. There are other places you can hit in the ribs with a crane strike, stuff like that. You can't see it here. Hit them in the ribs, palm up in stomach 5. Some continuous vicious attack on weak points of the body that have a high knockout probability. Maybe use improvised weapon, maybe use your keys as a weapon and then get out of there, okay? Because if you're a woman, you're going up against somebody that's got a lot more strength. If you're a guy, guess what, man? You could miss. You could be trying to hit in the groin and miss. So hit him in the groin. The groin is not necessarily a world under. Some people have a high pain tolerance. So it's best to just know a well-around set of skills in terms of self-defense. Okay, so just to recap, and I'm closing. Basically, self-defense is not just physical, it's mental too. So you got to pay attention to what's going on around you. You got to be aware of your surroundings. And also, if you're going to be just unarmed, really get yourself a good set of empty hand skills. If you're going to be armed, know how and where to use your weapons. And also, if you have weapons, get empty hand skills to fall back on. And Taekwondo skills are very useful for women because women do have good leg flexibility. They don't have upper body strength, but especially the basic kicks. If women aim those at weak parts on the body, on parts of the body that have a higher probability of injury and knockout rate, it can work wonders. And remember, grappling is not the answer to everything. You should really only try to grapple if it's somebody you don't really want to hurt. So I got a link to the article below. Check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for your time as always. Peace.